Right, okay, so I think we'll start then. So this is the training session for the custom documents. Just have a quick overview of what the session is going to include. So we're going to have an introduction to the custom document. We're going to have a look at some of the content elements that are featured on the document. We're going to look at the different behavior of the kind of the properties on the document, which are depending on the property type and or the value. We're going to have a look at the standard document content that appears on the document. We're going to have a look at the option to add HTML markups to add extra formatting for the document. And then finally, we're going to end with just a demonstration on how to set up the document. So we'll go through that on Formpak and we'll show you step by step on how to do that. So as we mentioned right at the start, I'm not sure if everyone was there when we mentioned it. So the version of the custom document we're going to be using today is fairly new. So no customer currently has this on their system, apart from the ones that may be quite quick to download, the one that Sarah's just shared. So the new version is available in the chat for this team session for you to kind of download and import. If anyone would rather us send it to them directly, that's also okay. So there will be some features that you will see today that aren't necessarily included on anyone that has the existing custom document on their system as well. So this is an example of the custom document. This one is set up to act as a product specification. But the custom document is configurable and it's a multi-purpose document. So examples of how it's used include a product specification, a certificate of analysis, a technical data sheet, and many more as well. So I'm aware that there's some customers like kind of in this session now that kind of use it for a certificate of analysis. Some would also use it as a technical data sheet as well. But today we're using it as a product specification. So the core logic of the document is to show any property from the property group custom document properties that has a value. So essentially this information here, so the properties there, any within this property group that has a value will appear on the document. There may be other properties in the property group, but as they don't have a value, they're not appearing on here. So that's the basic logic. The property group can be easily modified to include any property and in a specified order. So you'll be able to add and remove properties from the property group, giving you flexibility to kind of customize the information showing on the document. And then by arranging the properties in a specific order within the property group, you'll be able to control which order the information appears as well. So we're just going to have a look at the content elements for the document. So the first element is the TO dependent content. So for those that might not be fully aware, so a TO stands for target organization. It's a type of party that you can add into Formpak. So within Formpak, there's various parties like suppliers, customers, and TOs. And a TO is a company where you can target information such as a logo or an address to appear on the document. So that's the TO document content on here. Here it's got the logo included and the address, and actually the address is the same document content that will appear at the bottom of your safety data sheets or any other document that you, well, majority of the other documents you have in Formpak, it would be the same content there, so you won't need to add that in. There's also the version and issue information. This is similar to how it appears on other Formpak documents like safety data sheets. It's got the number of pages that you've got there. It's got the issue date and it's got the version number as well. So I've also got document content. So document content is predefined content that will appear on every version of the document that you generate. It's not linked to any specific item, and it can be modified as well. So here we've got the title, the product code, and then we've got an extra bit of document content at the bottom as well. And then finally, we've got the item specific content as well. So this is information unique to the item that you're generating this for. Okay, so we're going to look at the different behavior and the appearance depending on the property type and the property value as well. So there's a few examples on here. So you've got standard properties, and by standard properties we mean it's a property with a text number or percentage value. So here the logic is that it will show the name of the property with the value of the property on the right hand side next to it. There could be other properties in there, but if they don't have a value, they won't show. So all we know at the moment for this one is that each of these properties for this item has got a value, therefore they're showing. The next set of properties we've got is entry list, and this is one of the newer additions that we've added in. So the entry list logic, it will show the name of the property, followed by the name, cast number, and percentage or concentration of the items from the entry list. So there's two entry lists here. There's the cosmetic allergens, and then there's the for 49 ingredient details. So both appearing in the same way, name and then entry list. And the entry list is only set in the custom document. It's only set up to show the name, cast number, and concentration. So even though there may be other fields in the entry list, only these three will show on the document. And then the final part that we've got on here to show you is, again, a new logic that's in there. So this time, if you set a property type to custom document statement, it will appear in this format. So you've got the code of the item and then underneath the value. So this is set up to show the storage and the shelf life. You could do this for almost any property that you wanted to appear as a statement rather than the other standard property types. So this is just a text value property, but because it has this custom document statement as the property type, it appears in this way. When we're setting up the document during the demonstration in a second, this will become more clear on how this works as well. So there's a different logic based on the property type and values. So let's have a look at some of the document content that appears there and some of the new options we have for this as well. So some document content will be predefined, but can be modified using the Manage Document Content tool. So examples on here are product and product code. These are predefined. So when you get the custom document for the first time, this content will already be set up to appear on there. You can amend that yourself. So you might want to change it to item code or add item name or even product name that's on there. So you can modify that yourself. There's another piece of document content on there, which is the title. Now, when you get the custom document for the first time, this will be predefined as custom document. I've changed it for this particular example to show product specification. When you're in the Manage Document Content tool, the code to look at for the title is CD, so custom document .title. If you amend that piece of document content there, that is the title of the document that you'll be amending. And then there's also three pieces of document content that are not predefined, and they won't show unless any content has been added to them using Manage Document Content. So you've got CD Disclaim and CD Note Top 1. These are not showing on the example because we haven't added a value to them. And then we've got CD Note End 1. This one we have given a value there. So we've been into Manage Document Content, we've added that value to it, and therefore it now shows on the document. So there's three document content elements that won't show automatically, but once they had a value added to them, they will show in different areas of the document. So just to go along with this document content, one of the newer features of the document is the HTML markup capability. So there's a few examples of this on the document. So you can include HTML markup to add additional formatting. So the examples on here are on the title. So you can see here that it's bold and it's underlined. So to achieve that, when you're adding in the content, you need to include HTML markup. So the B in triangle brackets here, and then the end bracket there indicates that the writing in the middle needs to be bold. The U and then the closed U bracket there indicates it needs to be underlined. So it's basic HTML markup that you can include to add some additional formatting to the document. Then the final piece example is here, where we've got the custom document note end 1. This one's got some different HTML markups on there. So we've got the I and then ending here, which is the italic. So we can see here that this is set in italic. Then the final piece, we've got the line break markup there. And what this does is put the content after this onto a new line. You can see here that there's no markup for this particular part of the content. So therefore, it just appears as standard without any additional formatting on there. There's other HTML markup that you can use on there. There's quite a lot of resource on the internet about how to do HTML markup. Unfortunately, Formpak aren't able to offer support directly on HTML markup. We can maybe give you a few pointers, but if you try to add HTML markups to the document and it's not working, unfortunately, we won't be able to offer support in that area. But obviously we can try and point you in the right direction if required. So the HTML markup is there. The functionality is a new one that we've added in. So you'll be able to take advantage of this when you get the new version of the document, and hopefully you'll be able to find enough resource online to confidently add this in. And it just adds a little bit of extra character to the document as well. So then from here, we're just going to have a look at the how to set up the custom document in Formpak. So I'm just going to come away from here. So we're in Formpak now. What we can see, just for those that don't know, I think many of you do know now, but we have got the support center in the middle. So some of the elements that we're about to look at now, including properties and document content and TO information, even the custom document itself, I think there are support articles in the support center to help with this. So you can use the search bar here to try and find relevant items. You can go through the kind of the common article lists here to try and find them. But there's a lot of information in the support center which will help you with some of the elements we're doing now. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off by looking at the property group for the custom document properties. So this is where all of the information is being generated from. So it makes sense that we start there. So we're going to go and view a property group. We're going to go to custom document properties. So here we can see that there's a handful of them on there. That wasn't showing on the example, but the rest are. So here we have the list of properties that will appear if they have a value. So we've got flashpoint in Fahrenheit, appearance, odor, standard ones you'd expect to see. It's quite quick and easy to modify this. So if we click edit, we can go on. If we want to add an extra property in, such as specific gravity, we can go on there, add it in. If we want to move the position of this or where it appears, so say if we want to put it with these other physical properties there, we could go to move to, you specify where you want it to go. So I want it to go underneath the flash point. So I will add it to position 5. Then the other properties will move down and specific gravity will then appear with the other physical data. So that's how you add a property, that's how you move them. And then if you want to remove a property, it's as simple as just clicking the minus button there and that will remove the property. What we're going to do is keep this fairly basic and straightforward. So we keep the properties as they are. Once you've finished amending that, you can just click save and that will save any amendments or changes that you've made to the property group. So now we're just going to have a look at the formulation to see what information we can expect to see. So we're going to go to view a formulation. We're going to go to citrus sunset, I believe it's called. I can't find it now. Hang on, let me. There it is. Not sure what I was doing wrong. Anyway, it's here now. So we're going to have a look at the properties here. So we're going to go straight to the custom property group. So we got them here. So we can see all of the properties there. So this is the way the Formpak is set up, that as standard, it will automatically show the properties that have a value. So all of the properties that we've added on there currently have a value for this item. If you've added any properties that you can't see on there, if you select show all properties, that should then list all of the properties that are in the property group, and then you can go through and make sure they're populated. So we can see here that it's going to be fairly similar to the example that we used. We can see that the entry lists are here. So this is the full entry list, but we know that based on the logic of the document, it will show the name, the cast number, and the concentration. So that's the information that's going to be included. And then we can see the shelf life. So this is the statement property. So what it's going to do is show the code of the property and then underneath show the value. If you wanted to, what you can do is turn these into choice properties. So if you've got maybe 3 or 4 different storage and shelf life options or statements that you want to use, you could have them listed in the property as a choice. You would then come into the property, choose the statement that's relevant for the item, and then select that. Formpak will then know that this is the relevant statement, and it will show it in the document in the statement format that we had a look at earlier. So there's not much else to see here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through, and the next stage we're going to have a look at the manage document content to make sure the content, to show you how this works and how the content should look. So we're going to go to manage document content, click on there. So for those that haven't used manage document content, this is where you can come to view any of the predefined document content that will go on any Formpak document here. I wouldn't recommend making sweeping changes to the standard documents, but for the custom document, it's fairly safe to make amendments there. So what I find is easiest to go to the document design. So we're going to go to custom document and then click search. Now this will pull up all of the document content that is due to appear in the document itself. So the bits that you might be familiar with, so you've got bottom company.default there. That's the document content that appears at the bottom, giving you the company address. We've then got the product and product code content we were looking at earlier. And we've also got other content here as well. So we can see the end note, which is technical information department with the italics on there, and then the line break, and then the statement about being valid without a signature. The other piece of content that wasn't showing on there, which we have added, is the top note. So we've added a statement there, which relates to the document in general, saying that the following information is accurate to the best of our knowledge, then the HTML tag in there to control a line break, and then a statement advising to look at the safety data sheet for other hazardous information for the product. So that's an example of where you can go to add additional content. And then we've got the title of the document there with the tagging that we looked at before. So we've got the bold markup and then the underline markup, and that's there as well. The other disclaimer that we're not using is here. If we wanted to add anything in there, we would click on that document content, click edit. That will then open the document up here. You can add a description to say, which isn't visible on the document. It's like an internal description. So if you wanted to give yourselves a bit of a note as to where this will appear or what the purpose of this content is, and then you can add the content in there. So you can put any content you want in there, click save, and then that will appear at the bottom of the document as well. But everything we wanted to see and include has been added already. So the next thing to do is just to go to print document for an item. So what we're going to do, we're going to load up our citrus sunrise. Sunset. There it is. In document type, we're going to go to custom document. Everything else we're going to keep the same, and we're going to click print to PDF. And then here's our document here. So we've got the specification title as we intended, so bold and underlined. We've then got our top note that was added. So the accurate to the best of our knowledge with a line break, and then the safety data sheet hazardous information. We've got the additional property of the flashpoint in Fahrenheit that's now showing as well. We've got the 2 entry lists, and then we've got our statement property, and then the bottom document content with the italics, and then the line break as well, and then our default TO information there for the address. So that's how the document can work.